but I'm going to have to really caulk this and seal this really good. I'm going to have to seal that really good, that really good, that really good, that really good, all the way down, because all the water is going to hit right here, and then it's going to go shusher, 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 and that's where this water is going to go if I leave this exactly there. And incidentally, I was going to show you the step. I've been using it as a plank. This was the top step, and look at that corner. That corner of that step is all of this stuff right here. See this? And if I flip this upside down, I should flip that upside down for you because it's an eye opener. All right, I'm going to move these 2x6s so you can see this step in action. Kabig, bang, boom. Look at this. No joke. This is the back side of that step. See here? It looks like a perfectly good step up to a certain point. And look at that. This was all the mold and stuff. Here's the notch. If you didn't believe me, the notch, I saved that. And that's where the notch was, right there. Nice, I made that notch there. And it fit over there. And so all of this was right in the corner. The corner right there. Boom. And I picked at that with my scratch awl, my putty knife, and I took all of that out. See that? That is classic dry rot. And I picked all of that out to try to get it out initially. Boy, you have to see those videos to actually believe it. This was amazing. This was all dry rotted. I had to take all this out. The only thing that I saved in this box was one 2x6 here that went all the way up, and some OSB plywood that was on that back wall up against the back of that column, which is stucco. That was okay. Everything else in there got ripped out, and then I rebuilt it. You got to see that to believe it. So here it is. Here's that step. Now you know why that step was like that. Because the floor, everything sloped this way, and the water, they didn't really care. They thought, okay, that's fine. The water will just go on top of the steps. Well, that's the damage that water does to steps. And they didn't have it caulked in there very well. And then they might have caulked it once upon a time. 17 years later, every year, the crack got bigger, this stuff shrank. All wood shrinks to a certain extent after you get it installed and it dries out. Okay? And you remember, I had to pull out the OSB plywood that was right up against the stucco because this was all water damaged. This was water damaged, that was water damaged. You remember, I took those out, and I saved a few pieces, and I've been using them to cut under the plywood, raise up the plywood and stuff. I had to replace all that. Why did I have to replace that? Because the water from the floor here, boom, went that way. That's why. Now, do I really want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. Well, how am I going to fix this? I'm going to have to lower at least to there, and maybe just a hair more. So if I do that, this line is actually going uphill, so that means I've got to lower this line down, right? If I do that, that means I have to lower this down. If I do that, that means I got to take this ledger board, and I'm going to have to lower that a little bit. And I can lower this. I can lower this to a certain extent, okay? And I'm probably going to have to lower it. It's a good thing I notched that out plenty deep, huh? Wasn't planning on it, but see, I'm going to lower that probably, I'm going to guess 3/16. And I've got plenty of room here, because remember, we're already 5/16 lower for this trim than we are there. I can't raise that up. The ideal thing to do to fix this would be to have that trim go up, but I'm not going to cut that stucco and mess around with that and lift that up and blah blah blah. I'm going to leave that alone. So that means I've got to lower this. Got to lower that, because if I lower this last 2x6 that goes across here, okay, then this is going to be up too high. So I've got to lower that down too, which then brings us up to a whole other can of worms. Then I'm lower than my wood, my top wood, by a little bit. I'm going to have to float that in. The good thing is I can take from this point, I can put some fix-all or do something right in here and create a swale. I can float from here down to the floor a little bit, let's say, and kind of bring this back around and still have this sloping down, have the floor sloping down from this point. This will be the high point of the floor, sloping down, okay? And this will be down lower. I've got plenty of slope. In fact, if I lower that, it makes this slope more, but I'm going to have to raise it up just a smidge, maybe, because I don't want it. I don't want any water to collect up against this wall. So at this wall, at this point, I can float. I can put it up a little bit and encourage the water to stay away from the outside edge of this column and go over this way. So all the water is going to go from up here, and it will kind of see where this swale is, and the water will kind of be directed off this way. And then this will still come downhill, and I'll still have enough room. I've got that level, and so I'm gonna raise that up a little bit. And by me lowering that, that's still gonna keep that. It's still gonna be low. Cause see, right now, this I made level. Okay, so let's just check. Right now, my pencil from the existing is about 7 1/4. Let's say from that strength to there. I go over to here and look at that. In all theory, I should have more than 7 1/4 right now, and I do. I got about 7 1/2. That means I only have a 1/4 inch slope from this point to that point. Okay, over here, remember I had at least a 1/2 inch slope going downhill. Here I only have a 1/4 inch slope. So with me lowering this down a little bit here, I'll have closer to a 1/2 inch slope if I lower this down at least a 1/4 inch, maybe, I think probably about 3/8 right in there, which will then mean, see, this is at an angle right now, it's not level, which means I have to lower that about 5/16, 1/4 inch or so, which then means this is level. So I could feasibly raise this up just a smidge. And I think I'm going to. See there, that measurement, I got about 3 inches to that, and I've got 2 3/8 plus 3/4 inch plywood is more than 3 inches, and I got about 3 inches there, which means I need to raise that up. I can raise that side up just a little bit, which I'm going to do. This pencil mark, I'll raise that up, okay? And I can do that because there's no notch in this stucco. Right? There's a notch over here, but there's plenty of room there. They've got it 2 3/4 inches, and we know. Well, I'll have to look at the floor up there. I didn't really measure that, but I'm pretty sure there's enough room there. So we've got our flooring is 3/4 from there, and that's about to the bottom of that. Okay, and so we know we need 2 3/8 from there at least, and I've got 2 5/8 or so. So I know the tile floor, and that little 1/2 inch goodie will fit in there because I need 2 3/8 for that. And see, they chopped that out. They chopped this out with the saw to do that. Because initially the existing flooring stopped right there. There was a rail, should have been a rail here. They added this area on, this landing and the stairs they added on. That's why they had to chop that out to at least come this way, and then they notched then the flooring just pushed right to here, and the tile is just flush with the stucco right there. Okay, so when my floor goes around here, I'm really gonna have to seal that pretty good. But you know, if any water were to get through there, it's gonna come down underneath the floor and go all the way down. But I'm trying not to have any moisture down here at all, because once you get moisture here, it starts affecting your wood, it starts affecting your flooring, and I think that's what happened here too. They didn't take that in consideration because they didn't, you see, this is just pre-finished stucco here, right? When they did their floor, initially they ran that black paper up to there, and then they just stopped it right in here. And they didn't run the black from here over to the floor and seal that in